Jack Russell from Great White is coming into the studio right now, and we will talk to him. I'm sure this guy has a million great stories to tell. He's lived 1,000 lives probably, and Jack Russell is here. Good morning, Jack. How are you, my man?
I'm really good, man. Really good. Yeah, I'd say 1,001 actually.
You really have done a lot, and so many things, ups and downs in the career.
Downs, yes.
I mean, everyone knows the fire. That's got to be the lowest of the low.
That's
but
the lowest of the low.
let's start at the beginning. You were what in L.A.? Is that where you lived or grew up?
Yeah, I was in Los Angeles. I was 11 years old. I heard a guy playing guitar in the street behind me, so I walked around the street and I walked up to the garage door and I knocked on it and I said, "Hey, man, you sound really good." I go, "I sing." He goes, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." I go, so he goes, "I got a mic. You want to try singing into my amp?" So he plugged the mic into his amplifier, and I was singing along with him some Bowie song, and next thing you know, I started my first band.
Wow, at the age of 11.
At 11 years old, yeah.
And did you come from a musical family or anything?
No, it was really strange. I mean, I heard rumors that my mom's mother, my grandmother on my mom's side, who was a really strange lady. I mean, I heard she was offered a record deal, but she turned it down.
Oh, wow.
But she was agoraphobic and wouldn't want to leave the house. Really weird. She lived with some guy that was like dressed in drag, and it was it was really a strange deal. Like mom never took me over there hardly at all when I was growing up.
How were your parents? Were your parents relatively normal?
Yeah, totally normal. They were great.
What did they do for a living when you were growing up?
My mom worked for the telephone company, and my dad was a superintendent for a machine shop. They just had regular jobs.
So pretty normal childhood and upbringing and everything.
Great childhood, awesome parents. They were very, into what I was doing. Whatever I wanted to do, they were behind me.
Even when you started getting into rock music and stuff?
Especially.
Really? They were supportive?
Yeah, my dad was very, very stoked. I mean, the first time we made a demo tape, not even a demo tape, it was actually a reel-to-reel when I was singing with this band that we started through my mic, through the guitar amp. Mm-hmm. And he heard It Was All Right Now by Free. And he heard it and he goes, "Oh, you're great. Wow, got to get you a PA system right now." So we went down to the music store and got my first PA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's how it all started.
So what I find interesting, and I don't know if this is factual or not, but in the info that I have, that when you guys start Great White, that you guys record like a 5-song EP or something on an independent label.
Right.
And then whoever your manager or someone is, I don't know who it was, they start convincing radio stations in Los Angeles to play that music. Yeah. Now, I guess in regular rotation throughout the day.
Which was a coup because nobody was doing that.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I've been in radio for, I don't know, 16, 17 years now. That stuff just doesn't happen. Was it different back then, or what? How did this happen?
Things were different back then. I mean, for whatever reason, KMET, which was the first station that played us, they're no longer around, unfortunately. But they really loved the music and loved the band, loved the whole hometown appeal and bringing a band, through their station. And then KNEC got on board, and then KLOS, and pretty soon, we were selling thousands of records on our own, and that's how we garnered our first major record deal.
So this happened pretty quickly. So these radio stations start playing you, and you're doing shows to like 50 people before they start playing you, right? I mean,
No, we were playing for like 500, but I mean, it was still a small.
That's pretty good, though.
Well, it was, but we had worked really long and hard to get that following,
And then they start playing you on the radio, and is it almost overnight that like 2,000 people want to come out and see you?
Yeah, it was pretty overnight. Yeah, it was.
What
amazing.
year was this?
That would have been 1982.
All right, so I was 7 years old at the time.
Amazing. I was 21.
That's actually amazing that someone, I'm 37 now, and it's weird to think of like a 21-year-old being thrust into a situation like that, where back in like the early 80s, where I know it's got to be crazy out there in Los Angeles. So,
right.
Tell me about that time in the early 80s.
Well, the time, I mean, it was electric. I mean, you knew you could walk down the streets of Hollywood. Let's say we're walking down Sunset Boulevard on a Friday night. Everybody's out. There's Motley Crue is hanging out, Rats hanging out, Dawkins hanging out, we're hanging out. I mean, everybody that was anybody at the time was just, walking around the streets, and it was like thousands of people just milling about, I mean, it was awesome. It was like this, it was like a huge party every weekend. I mean, I would just have people drop me off on a Friday night at the Rainbow. Sure. And I say, just drop me off. They go, well, how are you getting home? Don't worry about it. I'll get a ride.
See you in a few days.
Yeah, exactly.
See you on Tuesday.
And I just, somehow I'd manage to go from party to party to party, and then get some chick to drop me off back down in Orange County. So wow. It was really fun.
Now, at this point, I know you've battled drugs and alcohol and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At this point, are you doing copious amounts of drugs in this early phase?
I'm not doing anything.
No
I'm
kidding.
Totally sober, yeah.
How do you party back then and be sober?
Well, after Janie Lane died, he died the day of my last surgery.
Uh-huh.
I woke up from surgery, and my wife said, your friend Janie died from alcohol poisoning. You might want to think about getting sober. And I was like, I mean, I don't think that was a coincidence by any stretch. And then Steven Tyler called me up, a couple of days later and read me the riot act. And so I just said, that's it.
When was this?
August 11th, 2011.
Okay. Now, what about back in like in the early 80s? Are you're just
early
you're going
80s,
out and partying,
we were all out of control.
You're saying drop me off on Friday. Is that? I mean, you just start doing cocaine right then when you get out of the car.
No, cocaine kind of thing was like I had to get drunk first, and the coke was like to keep you up so you could party, drink more, kind of wake you up. It was like having a coffee, But it worked faster.
I've never done cocaine, so I'm very curious about people that
don't be curious about cocaine.
No, I would never do it, but it's almost like. Do you remember the first time you did it?
Absolutely, yeah. I was with my the original drummer for Dante Fox, which became Great White. He was he had some, and he said, "Try this, man." I'm like, "Okay." So
how old were you?
I would have been 17.
Were you nervous about doing it? I'll tell you a story.
No.
You weren't nervous about it?
No, dude, I was really your like, your basic drug addict, that I would try anything. It's like, what kind of drug have you got? That's my addiction,
I'll tell you a story. When I was about that age, I had a fake ID, got into this club, and my buddy was with me, and he goes, man, I got some shrooms.
Love shrooms.
And he goes, let's eat some of these. And I go,
I would still do that.
I didn't want to look like a pussy, so I was like, yeah, okay. But then I got really nervous about this, and I'm like, I don't know what this is going to do to me. Am I going to start seeing pink elephants coming out of the walls? I didn't know what the hell it was going to do. So I actually faked, and I think I flushed these shrooms down the toilet and just pretended that I ate these because I was such a pussy.
High. Like, you don't fake orgasms, do you? Come on.
I know. I never have yet. But you were the opposite of me. You were just like, screw it, I'll try it.
Oh yeah, no, it was like, if it was going to change the way I felt emotionally or mentally, I was all aboard.
Why? Was there some sort of pain that was going on in your childhood, or something you weren't happy with?
My parents were very protective. I wasn't supposed. My mom was not supposed to have a kid. She was not supposed to be able to get pregnant. So consequently, when I was born, I was like the miracle child. So it was like, doctor, are you sick? You don't feel good? Take you to the doctor. Is he okay, doctor? Yes, Emily, he just got a cold. Oh, thank God. Oh, you're okay. Okay, we'll just go home and be all, oh, thanks a lot, Mom.
Until the next crisis, the next day.
Yeah, and it was, they were very overprotective. So consequently, I rebelled, and I just did my own thing. And then, doing the rock thing and the music thing, even back then, there was always drugs involved. I mean, my first guitar player, he used to sell drugs. That's how he bought his amps. This guy had all these Marshalls and stuff, and his parents didn't have a dime. Everybody's like, how'd you get all that stuff? He's all, how do you think? You want to buy some? Oh, there you go. Now I know.
Now, how old were you then when you said that you quit everything in 2011 after a friend died?
Yeah. After Janie Lane, yeah.
And that was from what band?
Warrant.
Okay, right. Because I think some guys from out here, like, wasn't that guy?
Janie, I think Janie was from out here, wasn't he? Janie
Yeah.
Lane? I think he was from Akron, Ohio.
Did you realize at any point prior to that, I mean, you do these 20, 30 years, at some point did you think to yourself, I got a problem?
Well, yeah, I had sobered up. I mean, I had been through 4 rehabs. I had sobered up a number of times. The longest was 8 years.
And then what happens
then
after?
I went out over a divorce. I got divorced.
So you get divorced, and that's what causes you to fall off the wagon.
Exactly. It was like 12 steps, 12 pack. Well, the liquor store was closer, so
So do you remember that after being sober for 8 years? The first 12
it was
pack
horrible.
you went out
It was horrible. Yeah, I mean, I felt so guilty.
Did you battle with yourself? Like I can only
hung
imagine.
on for 2 weeks. I was like, don't do it. But I was just crying. I'm like, God, what do I do? My wife, she's leaving me, my whole life's going to change, and I couldn't imagine being without her, and the pain, the pain of heart.
Sure.
Everybody knows that pain, and, after about 2 weeks, I finally said, you know what, I can't feel this way anymore. So I went down to the liquor store. I bought a 12-pack of beer. Went home. She was out with her friends and this guy she was hanging out with that she eventually hooked up with.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm home watching her kid, so I just sat there and just drank it, So I was like, oh, then it was just like the guilt kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, what did you just do? I mean, what?
But at that point, the cat was out of the bag.
Oh yeah,
and then it was all downhill from there, huh?
And it went downhill quick. Fast, like it was from drinking to all of a sudden, smoking coke within a week.
Let me give Jack Russell a plug here. He'll be at the Tap House concert venue at Akron tonight at 9:00. TapHouseAkron.showclicks.com for tickets. I think I'm sure if you Google it, you can probably find it easier than that. How many times have you been married?
This is my 3rd time right now.
All right, so you're married now for your 3rd time. This divorce that you were so despondent over, that was your first or second?
That was my second.
That was your second.
That was my first real serious love. My first wife I actually married just to stop. Maybe I thought we'd quit fighting if I married her. Wrong. It was kind of like flushing shrooms down the toilet. Something you just don't do
that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were young and naive. You got married, and she was probably a hot piece of ass, though, right?
She was great. She was great, but she just wouldn't shut up. And she, to this day, she still comes down to gigs and goes, "Hi, I'm Save Your Love." And it's like, oh, I'm Jack's first wife. It's like, oh my God.
And it still annoys you to this day.
Oh, and it's embarrassment.
So the second wife, you were really in love with her. How long were you married?
We were married almost 10 years.
What happened? Why did this go south?
Because
you were sober and stuff.
It's because I was spending so much time taking care of Great White. Like basically managing the band. Dealing with the promoters and dealing with the agents and the lawyers and the managers and you name it.
You couldn't spend time with her and the family.
Exactly. I was spending more time on the phone, because I had to make sure things went right.
Right.
Somebody has to watch.
Did you even realize that things had gone so far south in the relationship? You just thought, well, things will get better.
I was blindsided. Yeah. I mean, I was like, I came back from the Poison tour in '99, and she says, I want a divorce. I'm like, what? I mean, we never even fought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're still friends to this day, but that took a while. After I got over.
Well, sure, you were hurt.
I was hurt. Then after losing the house,
yeah,
the cars.
Oh, yeah, I bet, right.
Yeah. After all that, I got over it after a while, but yeah, it was a real blow to my ego,
And now you're on your 3rd marriage now. How long have you been married now?
It's a little over 2 years.
And this is going pretty well?
It's going great. She's the love of my life. I mean,
really?
She saved my life. Not only, she's the love of my life, she actually saved my life.
How do you mean it by that?
Well, she's a nurse, and she took care of me when I was really, really ill, when I was in a coma for 5 days.
How'd you get in a coma?
I had a perforated bowel, and the bowel perforated.
This doesn't sound good. Whatever that is, that sounds like a hole in your intestine or something?
It's a hole in my intestine, right, where all the insides of your intestines
so all your crap is basically going
into your body
cavity,
right?
That's no good. Oh,
not
my
good
God.
at all.
That will kill you.
It will kill you. So I went into I was off the plane. On the plane, I was screaming, oh my God. I was coming back from a show. It's like this pain. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I got to the airport. My wife go find the next big white H, wherever it is, and go there. So she took me to the nearest hospital, and they took me into emergency surgery, cut me open, took all my intestines out, laid them on a table, washed them all off, cut out the part of my colon that had burst, put a colostomy in, put me all back together again, sewed me up, stuck me in ICU. I was in a coma for 5 days because of the infection.
Oh, yeah, that's nasty stuff.
They told her that I wasn't going to wake up. They said, just start making preparations because he's not going to make it. But I had other plans. So I woke up with a bag, and then 9 months later, they put me back together again.
They stitch your intestines back up, so you're not carrying around a poop bag right now.
No, thank
Because you're
you.
sitting on a white couch there. I mean, no offense.
Yeah, right.
The skid mark on it.
No, there's no bag, man. I'm all good.
You know,
I'm all good.
I didn't have that, but I was actually doing the show one morning, and Dieter, you remember this?
Yes.
And I came in, and I go, oh man, I go, I have this pain in my stomach. And it escalated so rapidly. Within 20 or 30 minutes, I was doubled over. I could not move, and I had an intestinal blockage, which probably would have turned into what you had.
Sure.
If they didn't fix it. And I went right to the hospital, and oh my God, man, the pain, that was unreal, unbelievable. That
it's
pain.
pretty amazing.
Yeah, and yours actually burst, which is 10 times worse than mine.
Just imagine that 100-fold.
You want to hear something
I
gross?
was screaming.
I didn't burst. I actually puked because I got to the emergency room, and I was like way out of it, and I puked. And the puke, I swear to God, it was like, because I was all stopped up in the intestines, it was like I was puking crap. Like
feces?
Diarrhea. I'm not kidding you.
I've heard of that.
And the nurse told me later, she goes, I saw that. I said, this guy is in some serious, serious trouble. I mean, could you imagine something like that?
You never told us that part.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I never heard that.
Oh,
That's
my
crazy,
God.
man. I'm like, I can't believe you didn't mention that.
Doogie
That's the
saw
worst.
that, I think. Doogie, did you see that when I puked? And it was, I mean, it was just like, it looked like diarrhea.
brown.
Dark brown. And,
Oh, man.
oh, my God. Doogie, do you remember that when I puked that?
Yeah, when you were blocked up.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it was
It was
blackish
just
brown.
like diarrhea.
Yeah.
That
It was
smell?
Out of the
It
mouth.
was like your butthole had reversed with your
Yes.
mouth. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, I'm known for talking crap, but not
Yeah. You were
literally
literally.
crap coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Well, that's lucky. So
Well, so she, she rushed to the hospital, and she took care of me the whole time because it was in a spot where I couldn't actually change the bag. Yeah, I couldn't do it, so she had to change it.
That's
and
true
man,
love,
this
man.
thing, and well, you always have accidents with these, no matter what.
Yeah.
At some point it's going to come off. Something's too much is going to come out, and they're going to burst.
And you're
gonna have crap
embarrassed
all
by
over
it,
you.
I'm
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
You
Oh,
know.
of course, yeah. I mean, I remember one night we're in bed, and oh no, I'm feeling this warm sensation down my side. I'm like,
Oh, no.
honey, oh, she's okay. She gets up, gets me out of bed because I couldn't walk at the time. I was like 137 pounds. I'd been in the hospital for 3 months, so I couldn't move. I couldn't even walk. I had to teach myself how to walk again. And she took me and washed me off, put me in the shower, put me on a chair with a blanket, changed the sheets, cleaned me up, put a new bag on, put me back to bed. About an hour later, same thing happens. This happened 3 times
Oh,
in
my
one
God.
night, and this poor thing didn't say a word about it.
Wow.
Just stoic, got up, went to work. It was just unbelievable.
She started getting healthier. Did you ever have sex with her while you had that bag attached?
No.
You were too sick.
It was too sick. It wouldn't even. I don't even know if you could. I imagine you could, yeah. But
That's how I judge how sick I am. Like, for instance, if I like if you start
if
getting
you
a cold
can't
or
have
whatever.
sex, you're really sick.
Or
Yeah,
even if
yeah.
if I'm laying there and if I'm like, I don't even feel like masturbating right now. I go, I must be really sick if
If
I
you're
don't feel
saying
like
that.
cranking one out.
Yeah,
You're too
right.
sick to crank it. Jack Russell, founding member of the band Great White. He'll be performing at the Tap House concert venue in Akron tonight. My producer said,
Yeah, my
is
new
that,
band, Great White, featuring Jack Russell.
is that why my producer said you walked in with a cane? Yeah, is that?
Yeah, well, actually, I use a cane when I walk but not on stage. I don't need it on stage. I do it just take a little pressure off my back, because when in '09, when this all started, I broke my back. All right, and then I had 2 surgeries.
How'd you break your back?
I fell off I was using a 5-gallon paint bucket for a ladder, a third full, and you don't do that. I found out, and I fell against a square tub surround.
Oh,
and
my God.
It broke 2 vertebrae, so I had to have 2 surgeries to finally make it work. And then in '09, then I was on stage in '09, and I tripped over a cable, and I shattered my left femur. So I finished the show on a stool, and after that, I went to the hospital. They put a rod down my down my leg. You know what I mean? And
I'm nervous just
later
being
on,
in the
I
same
fell
room
and
with
broke.
you. Like there's
later
gonna be a
on, I fell and
disaster.
broke this hip. I had 3 screws there, and then the surgery I was talking about when Janie died, I shattered my femur.
Oh my God!
Not my femur, but my pelvis.
You're a walking disaster.
I was, and then I quit drinking, and then you quit falling down.
Is that what the problem was? You were drinking so much?
Actually, no. I mean, one time, yes, but the other times I lived in a house where I put all marble floor in, and it was really slick. And
I almost did that in my bathroom like 2 weeks ago.
the whole house
Almost
was
ate it.
like that, and you would fall over just by because it was really slick.
Yeah.
Bad move, especially when you have osteopenia, like I do.
You're like,
which
this is
you know.
sweet, man. I'll be money with this marble flooring. It looks pretty dope, I'm the man, and then you fall and break
boom.
your hip.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's wow. I almost ate it. I came out of the shower, and on the tile of the bathroom floor, I came so close.
Yeah, wait till you read the book. There's a lot of I got a book coming out.
Oh, when's that going to be out?
We're right now working on the deal. We're writing it. We're working on the publishing deal, and should be out, I imagine, within 6 months. I'm hoping.
Well, it sounds. Listen, this is going to be a great book. You
It's
have a lot
going
of
to be,
stories.
yeah, it's going to be ridiculous.
Now-
I mean, I'm writing it going like, that really didn't happen to me, did it? Yep.
So there's other stories. Of course, there's this fire that they had that Great White was performing, and I think 100-some people were killed.
Yeah.
But you even have other stories too. Someone.
Oh yeah, way more stories than
someone. I just bought a boat. It's my first boat. I hear that you had a boat. Someone ran into the thing.
I've had 4 boats. I live on my new boat with my
You
wife.
do?
Yeah.
How big is this boat?
It's 54 feet.
Oh wow.
Overall, yeah. And yeah, some guy in a sailboat was turning the corner, and I don't know how he did it, but he ended up bashing the stern of my boat and breaking the boarding ladder off the swim step. I don't care because I never use it anyway. I just hop over the back.
Yeah.
But it was the guy. I thought he might have been a little buzzed. And I just told him, I go, dude, you know what? Go back to your slip.
Because you've probably done a million things that
exactly.
you got away with.
And I'm not going to be some snitch and go, yeah, the guy was drunk, man. Go bust him. You know what I mean? It's like, why? I just told him to go back to his slip. Don't take your boat out, or I will.
I bought a 47-foot boat as my first boat. Is it?
That's
too
great.
Much?
Yeah, no,
too much?
no.
Everyone said I
no.
was crazy, but
no, that's
seems to
great.
be working so far. I just got it a few weeks ago.
That's great, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
just you learn how to use the engines to steer your boat.
Oh, it has these Zeus drives. You get a little joystick. You want to go diagonal. You want to go sideways. You want to do whatever you want to do.
That's great. That's
great.
That's
It's
a great way to
fantastic.
go, man.
What are you getting, a booty call right now?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. My wife's in the hospital right now.
What's wrong with
actually.
her?
She, I mean,
You guys are walking
how
disasters.
weird is this? She had part of her intestine taken out.
What the hell are
'Cause
you
it
two
wasn't
eating,
working.
man? Seriously, you got to look at this diet.
Right. Yeah,
Something, You know?
No, it's really strange. I mean, it's really, really strange. But she's fine. She's okay now.
Where do you guys live? Where do you live now? You say you live on
Redondo
this boat.
Beach. Redondo Beach, King Harbor. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's great. You wake up in the morning and gulls are barking and the seals are barking. And
yeah, that's great. I used to live right around there. It's fantastic. I lived in Marina Del Rey. It's great over there.
Yeah, that's just south of it.
Laid back, and
south
people
of us,
are
north of us,
north of Redondo. Yeah. People are laid back. Hot chicks running around everywhere.
It's great,
ridiculous.
man. Yeah, South Bay, nothing like the South Bay.
So,
man.
in your book, are you going to get into the whole fire thing that happened at the show?
You know what? Yeah, there's a chapter on it. And well, I mean, that's a huge part of my life. Of course, I had to write about it. I don't want to get into it right now because it's something I just don't want to talk about. because no matter what I say, I offend somebody. You know,
So
I had to be really careful about telling the story.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Is there? Are you prevented from talking about it in any way? Because I know I don't know. Were you sued in the whole thing?
My corporation was sued, and my insurance company was sued, I would say. And
When something like that happens, everyone gets sued.
Yeah, well, that's what they do. They sit and have what they call blame storming, is what my lawyer told me. And they sit around and they see who's got the deep pockets. And like they sued Budweiser, they sued Clear Channel. I mean,
yeah, I know. They sued Clear Channel, and I was somewhat stunned by that. Clear Channel, which owns this station.
Yeah, it was kind of strange, you know.
I think Clear Channel, and the odd thing, I think Clear Channel settled. They go, we don't want this bad publicity.
Well, that's exactly what happened, and that's why they do it. You know what I mean? Jesus,
Clear Channel had nothing to do with this, other than they gave away tickets to this Great White show at this station club. I think it was called the Station.
Yeah.
And they gave out tickets on the air. They go, hey, you want to go see Great White tonight? Be caller, whatever, and here's some tickets. And then they get sued over that. And I remember another station that I worked at. I worked for CBS here. And similar, well, not anything as horrific as this, but someone was on there. A guy was going to a concert, went to a bar, started drinking. He got drunk. He had won.
That's what happens usually, right?
Yeah, he had won some tickets from the radio station. He never ended up going to the concert. He then got in his car and drove and hit someone else, killed a woman.
Oh, jeez.
And they sued the radio station because he was on his way to a concert that he won tickets. And it's like, how do you sue the radio station over
it's
that?
kind of like Mousetrap, you know what I mean? You look around where the ball fell over here. Well, you know, this ball started over here and it kind of rolled this way.
I guess my question is, is there anything that you say that you don't want to talk about? Is there any like legal settlement that says you can't talk about it? Like
there's not. No, I just don't. I've said everything that I ever want to say about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've done a million interviews. I've said everything I wanted to say, and every time I say something, I hurt somebody. And
why? What do you say that could be so hurtful? I'm sure you feel horrible about it.
Of course I do. Of course I do. Of course,
it's the worst thing that could happen to anyone.
I mean, you know, it's just no matter what you say, somebody can take it another way and say, "Well, he meant this when he said that."
Yeah.
You know, so I just prefer not to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, it was a horrible thing that happened, and you know, though there's a chapter about dedicated to it in the book, and you know,
Are you going to say like exactly? I'm sure you've said in the past, but are you going to say like exactly what you saw and everything?
Oh
like
yeah,
that,
I mean,
yeah,
it's the same thing. It's nothing new. It's not like I haven't said this a million times. When it first happened, I told the police everything that I knew.
Yeah.
I told every news outlet everything I knew because I wanted people to know what happened.
Right.
You know, it's not like I just.
And by the way, we'll move on. But I just for people who don't know the situation, they were performing at a concert. I don't know how many people. 500, 600, 700 people there.
It was way oversold. Yeah.
And some sort of like a pyrotechnic thing went off when you guys hit the stage, and it caught the place on fire, and 100 people or so were killed in this. In case you don't know what we're talking about. All right, this is 6 months. This book is going to come out. You say
probably about 6 months.
What's the best story you're going to put in this book? Do you have any idea?
You know, there's so many good stories. I mean, I haven't even finished writing it yet. I mean, I'm just getting into the meat of it. You know, my writer goes, okay, write about this, write about that, write about this, write about that.
So you have someone helping you to write this?
I have a co-writer, yeah. Because I want it to be really, really readable, and I want it to all flow. I mean, there's so many books out there by these guys, musicians, that just write their life stories, and it's going from here to there to over here to over there. You're like, dude, learn how to write. Take a writing. Take English at least. I mean, you know, there is something called punctuation and grammar. You know, I mean, maybe we should learn about. You know, and I mean, I'm a good writer, but I want to make sure this is really, really well done. You know.
Did the guys in Great White ever fight with each other? Did you guys fight a lot?
No, we really never did. It was pretty much, you know, I ran a really tight ship, put it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was.
What was the biggest fight you guys got in? Let me guess. Over money?
Well, I never had any problems fighting over money. I mean, everybody got paid. There's people that said that they didn't when they got fired. Then they said, "Oh, all of a sudden we didn't get paid." And they found out later. Look, go down to the accountant's office. They're your accountants. You can go through the books anytime you want.
Let me ask you. Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
Not that I haven't asked you a personal question so far. What is the most amount of money that the band or you personally made in one night? Just one show or whatever with all your merchandise sales. I mean, what's the most that
couple
you pulled in?
$100,000.
A couple $100,000 in one night.
Yeah.
For you personally or the whole band?
No, the whole band.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big, man.
Yeah, we made a lot of money. We sold a lot of records. We sold about 8 million records. Got the Grammy nomination. That was cool. Oh yeah.
Did you save any money? Did you blow money? What did you do?
I went through money like water, man. We all did. I mean, when you sell, almost 3 million records, you say to yourself, okay, well, if the world just crashes and burns tomorrow, we'll sell at least 1.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
No. Not the way it worked. I mean, we went from selling almost 3 million to selling 750,
wow,
down to 250, down to 1. I mean, at the end of at the beginning of the 90s, man, the bottom just fell out.
Right, Nirvana
when the
came in
grunge
and
era
all that,
came
right.
in. Well, I attribute it not so much to their great music. I attribute it to the fact that, there were so many bands out that companies were signing that all sounded the same.
Yeah.
They were just weaker versions. It was like a mimeograph paper, every copy gets a little bit less clear,
What does it do to you personally? Like, every guy has an ego and every guy wants to be successful, but when you go to the point where you're not selling the records that you were, do you enter a depressed state?
I went through that, in the 90s. Yeah, I went through the fact that, wow, now we're playing clubs and we were playing arenas every night, And then I got over that, It's like, dude, you're still playing. You're making a living. All you ever wanted to do was make a living playing music.
Better than digging ditches.
And never have a job.
Yeah.
I've never had a job.
Yeah.
I've always made money playing music. So I have nothing to complain about. I'm alive, which is freaking miracle. You know what I mean? It's a total miracle. My life is going really, really well. I have a wonderful wife. I have great friends. I have a great new band. It's the only thing that's a drag is this court thing we're going through, and that'll be settled in September. So
is that all over the fire? Is that what? Or what's
no,
that?
this is over.
Else?
This is about the name. There's
the name Great White.
Yeah.
You're battling with the old guys.
I fired them. They didn't want to be fired. They said, you can fire us. Well, I'm the president of the corporation. Yes, I can, since you're just hired members, 2 of you. So they refused to quit using the name. So I had to sue them.
Yeah.
So we go to court.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah,
I've been involved in a lot of legal issues. It sucks. Costs a lot of money, and these lawyers. Let me tell you, they love to drag this out, don't they?
I've got a great lawyer who is a really good friend, and very fortunate for me to have that. Because it's really made it easy for me to do this.
Jack Russell is here in the studio with us. He'll be at the Tap House concert venue in Akron tonight at 9 o'clock. Safe and Reliable Limos brought him, so I have to give them a plug. 440-288-LIMO. They were nice enough to pick him up and bring him over here. Now, before I let you
they're
go,
not going to bring me back, but I mean...
they're not bringing you back? What?
Okay.
No, this guy just dropped off the line. He was on hold for like 45 minutes. That whatever. I think that I was going to bring that up, but I don't know. I think that might have this might piss you off, and I don't mean to piss you off, but this guy was on the line, and he said that he read a book about that fire, and that he said that according to that you were a scumbag who went bankrupt on purpose so that the families of those victims wouldn't get any money.
I didn't go bankrupt on purpose. There's so many ridiculous stories out there. My insurance company paid them $1 million. We did 2 tours afterwards where we donated all the funds to the families. You know what I mean? And I didn't go bankrupt back then. I mean, that wasn't...
There's probably a lot of misinformation.
There's tons of misinformation, and that's one of the reasons I put that in the book so people could hear the real story. I mean, I've heard stuff like, "Oh, he said he wouldn't go on stage unless they use pyro." I mean, what? Why would I do that? It cost me money every time we used it.
Yeah, you're like, I'd rather not use it.
I'd rather not use it. Exactly. You know, we're not like we're Kiss, for God's sakes. I mean, it was my manager's idea to do it. I'm like, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, because your manager wants to, he wants to make things.
He wanted to
look cool.
spice up the show,
right.
And we only used it a little bit. We used it 2 times in the show, and and it was indoor fireworks. They were made for indoors.
You know
and the
what?
guy, we even went out and hired the guy that worked for WASP because he knew more about indoor fireworks than anybody.
Yeah.
Because touring with WASP, they're like the junior Kiss.
Yeah.
And what had happened was, the ceiling was covered with this flammable foam, which was illegal. But the fire marshal never found that out. He never checked it. So
and it just went up very quickly. You know what sucks about
for people
this situation,
like that to say things like that about this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's always people out there that are misinformed, and they say things like that about me, and that hurts. That's it's like you don't know what you're talking about. You weren't there, or if you were there, you still don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? I gave everything I could financially.
You probably cut off your arm
out.
if you could.
I would die. I would take my own life to save one person there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what
these guys are my friends and family. I mean, these people came to see us for 20 years.
Right.
I knew most of these people personally. I mean, I had a lot of friends there that I knew, people that flew in from Los Angeles. I mean, unbeknownst to me, and I was like, oh my God, they were there too,
Right. It's when things happen, I guess everyone in today's society, everyone wants to put blame on accidents. Happen sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And it's everyone wants if something horrible. And I'm not blaming these people who want to sue and get. Look, if that was my family member, I'd sue everyone too, probably. But
of course.
Everyone, I'm talking about situations that aren't so horrific as the one that you were just talking about. But if something happens to someone, everyone goes, oh, it used to be 50 years ago. People would say, oh, something bad happened to you. That's too bad. Now it's like if something bad happens to you, everyone wants a payday. And I'm not talking about this situation. Paydays are probably deserved. I'm just saying that, I don't know. I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm saying either.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. You
right? Because I wasn't saying that those people
Right.
don't deserve anything. I was just talking more.
That's
generally.
why in a situation like this, you can't say nothing. You can say makes anybody feel any better. So it's better just to shut your mouth so you don't stick your foot in it.
Well, it's something. I feel bad for you too.
There's a story out there now. I hear about some guy says you read it in a book. So obviously it's true if you read it in a book.
Did you ever read that book? I mean,
no.
Did you? No.
No, I never even heard about that. I never even heard about the book.
Killer Show.
I mean, somebody, obviously wanted to make a buck off the back of the fire, so they wrote a book about it, not knowing all the circumstances. Certainly didn't interview me.
Yeah.
How would they know about my financial situation? Of course, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
They'd have no way of knowing.
So
I didn't file bankruptcy because of anything like that. That's ridiculous.
So getting back, before I let you go, just to wrap everything up, forget all this stuff about the fire. That's bad. It's it's tough. So you made all this money in Great White, and you spent it. You just went crazy, basically.
Yeah, it was great.
Throughout your life.
It was great, man.
That's crazy. I mean, I would love to. In some ways, I admire guys like you that can just live so carefree, and you're like, screw it, man, and you're just partying and going nuts. And on the other hand, I go, wow, I'm a pussy, but I'm like real responsible and straight laced, and I wish I
had some of that.
Yeah.
I wish I had some of the sense, like, you know what, this isn't gonna last forever. maybe that old saying, save some for a rainy day, is not.
People probably told
it's
that to
not
you, and you're like, whatever.
Yeah, it's not just a saying, you know what I mean? They don't say it just to say it because
Right.
it sounds good,
Well,
So,
listen, your wife is in the hospital. I wish her a speedy recovery.
thank you very
Hope
much. I
she's
appreciate
okay.
it.
It sounds like this book that you're working on. I hope everything works out with that as well. That sounds like that could be some really good stories in there.
It's going to be an eye opener.
You gonna
for
tell
a lot
all
of
chicks
people,
that you banged and stuff like that, stories like that, or do you get because now you're married? Do you have to hold things back? 'Cause your
No,
wife
I don't
is-
got to cut anything out.
No.
I'm not leaving anything out. My life story is what it is. My wife knew what it was before she married me. She knew who I was.
Who's the
and who I
most
am.
famous chick you were able to nab?
Oh yeah, let's not go there. That'll be. Well, you have to wait for the book.
Would I know? Would I know these
Oh
chicks?
yeah,
I would.
You know her.
Oh boy.
No.
What does her name start with? Just the first initial.
H.
Heather Locklear. I nailed it on my first guess, didn't I? I did, didn't I?
Yes.
Wow.
Nice guess.
She's some
You're gonna
sort
have
of
to read
vixen.
the book. You're gonna
Nice
have to read-
score.
You're gonna have to read the book.
What do you think of now that you're sober? Like when you see stories of Heather Locklear, like driving your car into telephone poles and stuff. That happened a couple of years ago.
I didn't say I slept with Heather.
I
Locklear.
didn't say you did either. Right. I'm just saying it in
I
general.
think
when you
she's
hear-
a beautiful woman. She
Yeah.
still looks great. She looks beautiful. You know what I mean, she's a gracious, very
I like
sweet
the guy
lady.
behind you, your manager, whoever this guy. He's just chuckling back there. He's like, man, this guy's like a friggin' psychic in there on the radio.
I'm trying to get him to come clean. He won't hear either.
It's a Rover's Psychic Friends hotline right now. All right, listen, man. Hey, man, you've been great.
Thank
go
you. I
see
appreciate it,
Jack
man.
Russell. And how are you? It's great.
It's Great White featuring Jack Russell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go see that at the Tap House concert venue in Akron tonight at 9:00. And I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
And good luck with everything.
I appreciate it, man. Thank
and
you.
we'll check back in with you
Thanks for
sometime
having
next
me,
time
man.
you roll
Appreciate
through.
it.
I appreciate it. I've got to take a quick break.